The cracking apart of the egoic condition is no small feat, as most of you are aware. It is becoming detached from what conditioning is attached to, letting go of what conditioning wants to hold on to for dear life. And everything you believe you have to have eventually is broken apart. But the nectar is what remains. The nectar is what remains. What cannot be taken away. Why can it not be taken away? Because it is not an object of perception, but the feeling of being. The feeling of silence. The feeling of beauty. The feeling of the self. The character is like a puppet. It is played. When the trust in the nature of conscious awareness that you are runs deep enough, the experience of doing vanishes, and you remain connected with what cannot be taken. And this is the heart. It goes in the opposition of conditioned beliefs and habits. The belief and habit is that I have to feel safe. But it's all imagination. It's all imagination. Doesn't mean that letting go of it is not an incredible challenge, but it's an imaginary challenge. What we talk about in satsang is the beauty of yourself that is untouched by change. The beauty that is untouched by change. And everything that changes is nothing more than objects of perception. But the beauty is perceptionless. It is without perception. You, in truth, are without perception. And then the question arises, well then, without the habit of following perceptive experiences, then the diving into, who am I? What is this I that I take myself to be? What is it? And it is impossible to find anything. But what is discovered is that which cannot be taken, because it is the feeling of yourself, except it is not an object. It is not in the arena of perception. It is in the feeling of your being, the feeling of your being, and the doorway into the permanent relationship with your being is that everything perceived must be released, because perception is the mind. And what is the mind? An appearance. You cannot find the mind now. You cannot find something tangible called the mind now. Just look for it. What is the mind? It is the same thing as saying, who am I? You dive into the infinite abyss that has no explanation, but cannot be taken. To feel the very nature, the simplicity and beauty of being alone, being alone, not the mind-body being alone, but beingness, beingness that is everywhere. It's everywhere. It's infinite. Wherever the body is, beingness is always here. It's not moving, it's always here. If you look for the I, you discover what is here. Diving into who I am in this moment, free and clear. And then there is the discovery. Then you are lost in the stillness. Then you realize you are the stillness. Then the actions arise on their own with no experience of doing. But the beauty of what remains as yourself. And the play will throw up these endless, seductive possibilities of being drawn into the story. Requires great humility and vigilance to not touch anything, to just be, to continue to release the habits in a deeper and deeper way. And all habits revolve around beliefs. The letting go of all beliefs sounds so simple, but the play will offer you everything possible to latch on to a belief. But who is it that is believing? It's a phantom. There's no one. This is the discovery that there is no one in truth that has beliefs. It's just a program. The program is so addictive, but it's nothing but a program. In this journey, the program is blown apart. From the mind's perspective, this is great loss. But in the discovery of the grace that is your own nature, the blasting apart of the imaginary one is freedom. Freedom from what? Freedom from every single thing. Everything. Everything. And then the character is moved. There is no one moving it, it's just moved. It will play the role of self-recognition, or it will set off the potentials to latch on to repetitive familiar beliefs. For the one who is so humble, they are ready to let all belief go. And then you receive the gold, the treasure, which is the eternal nature of yourself. Everyone is hungry for it, but it is not about attaining anything. It's about feeling the hunger itself. For the hunger, in fact, is the draw of self to self. That's what the hunger actually is. The draw of self to self. What is everywhere? Being drawn to itself everywhere. So even though there is a draw, it is not in location. It's everywhere, everything drawn to itself, which is everywhere, everything. But it's not a thing, it's being. It's the being, the nature of existence that is so alive. The mind comes and goes. Perceptive experience comes and goes. It's coming and going to an I character that is perceiving and experiencing, but the I character can never be found. So every time a carrot comes along, which is attempting to distract the attention, it is to look and see who is distracted, who is reaching for something, who is lost, who is trying, who is efforting, who is confused. And what do you find? There's no one there. There's no one there. It's all imagination. There are no separate characters doing separate things. It's all imagination. And what plays the play is either the celebration of self-recognition or the repetition of what created forgetting. And when you are very mature, every time there is a replication of forgetting, it becomes a reminder of who you are, not an avenue of becoming distracted and holding opinion. All opinion, all belief is humbled back into the source from where it comes. And this is the holy union of totality. Totality, not individuality. It's not to try to get away from the feeling of individuality. It is to look and see who is the individual. And then the myth evaporates. There is no separate individual. There is no doer. It is all appearance. Whenever there is the experience of doer, there is a forgetfulness that pulls attention away into the drama, to the drama. But reality is this moment alone that has no past, no individual, no doer, but is the feeling of yourself, the feeling of yourself, the beauty of yourself, the incredible, unspeakable reality of being right now, right now. We need constant self-reminding because the play is such a seduction. But who does the play seduce? Look and see who the play can seduce. You can never find who that is because it is an appearance. The mind is an appearance. What is the mind? What is the mind in this moment without being seduced into a story of past or future and feeling into directly what is mind? And it vanishes. It vanishes because it is only appearance. And everything that seduces the habit of being drawn into the appearance cycles around over and over again until there is the readiness to let it all go. Let it all go. Then you do not know what the body will do. It is no longer yours. It never was yours, but it was directed by karma. So things felt familiar. It felt like someone. You know, if there is the feeling of someone, there is identification with karma. The nature of the play is to bring up this tendency because you cannot be freed of this tendency if it does not come up. And there is the humility to let go of positions and beliefs and the recognition that there is only in truth the self, the glorious beauty of the self. And it will strip away all belief. In fact, when the body is turned over to this, if there are any unconscious beliefs, the character that once was defined as you will act these beliefs out. only to reveal the innocence of everything, only to feel how there is no one doing anything, only to completely dissolve the possibility of holding a belief around anything at all. But what is not belief, what is not in the arena of perception, is what the hunger is all about. And the doorway into the hunger is letting the conditioned habit break apart, and the wisdom will do just that. It will leave nothing but itself, because in truth, that's all there is. In truth, that's all there is. And what is felt in the truth of what is? Oneness, unity, the infinite field of conscious awareness, realizing its own nature. It is not a doing, it is not a someone, it is reality that reveals itself when the someone has been broken into nothing. Simply to notice that anything that is in a particular location is also something bound by time. What is in location is bound by time. What is bound by time is imaginary. Just to feel into yourself, to feel into the nature of the truth of who you are. This is not in the arena of time. It's not in the arena of location. It is the infinite vastness of yourself, which you have been distracted from because of conditioning of particular arisings in particular locations bound by time. But the truth is that your existence is without time. It is without location. It is without direction. It is without anything but itself. And it is so drawn to itself. And when you feel the conscious nature of what you are being drawn to itself equally everywhere, so it is locationless because the draw is equally everywhere. If you can feel the draw equally everywhere, then you feel yourself. When you feel yourself, you are yourself. When you are yourself, you're free of everything and you rest in the pristine beauty of the nature of consciousness, the nature of love, the nature of unity, the nature of pure wisdom. It is not about the content of what is spoken. It's about where the content comes from. It is not about the actions that arise. It's about where the actions that arise come from. It is not about someone. The someone is imaginary. Just look and find that someone, and you discover the phantom that lives in time and location, but is only imagined. But the heart of being, the heart of being is the heart of eternity. The heart of eternity is the nature of yourself, where everything fractured and broken apart is discovered to be unified, infinitely unified in the light and joy of your being. To simply let go of every position, belief, and idea, just to let it go. Let it be. Let it come and go. No need to touch it. It's just phenomena passing through the infinite space of your awareness. If you just remain in the feeling of awareness, it becomes easier and easier to let go of the habits that have distracted. And then the illusion of a doer vanishes. When the illusion of a doer vanishes, the taste of totality is all that remains. Because totality is reality, and reality is eternal. And what is eternal is always, ever, only now, 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 now. Anything that pulls the attention away from reality is the carrot that is dancing in front of the face, repeating itself again and again, all mechanical, all occurring to an imagined individual. Imagined individual. Where is the individual in reality? In reality, the individual cannot be found. Whenever you dive directly into what is arising, the only thing that is ever discovered is yourself. Why waste time diving into yourself and tasting the beauty of who you are right here, right now, eternally unchanging? The habit of the mind will respond in the play that I did this, she did that, he did this. It's all imagination. The imagination takes root when there is identification. Identification with who? It's imaginary. Who is the I? It's imaginary. There is no he, there is no she, there is the self. This is the possibility, is living out of the self, living out of the self, living out of the moment, living out of the beauty, living out of reality, and letting go of the habit of distraction.